There's protesters out here who have been here day after day protesting the death of George Floyd, and today they decided they were going to march with our city officials. I'm down at Midwest Pipe and Steel on Pontiac Street, where a man is dead after what police say they believe was a domestic incident. They ask that people are only putting into the pantry what they would take out and put in their own. And when it comes to location, they look for businesses and people who understand their mission. I'm here at Connor's rooftop, where around 30 people are here celebrating the end of 2020. Aren't we all, right? Dirk, earlier this week, we reported a Fort Wayne police officer was involved in a shooting on Challenger Parkway. Today, we learned that officer was Alexis Aguilera. Court documents show he shot and injured 43-year-old Lance Morningstar. And groups must come from the same household to minimize risk. It has been a long time since I have seen the inside of a Blockbuster.
Real quick, what movie would you want them to show during that marathon?
All the Harry Potter movies.
All of them?
All of them. One woman is in critical condition following an accident tonight. Now, we do know that is so far the only injury that has been reported. Dirk, we're here at the Martin Luther King Jr. Bridge, where protesters have moved after a 7th day of protesting at the Allen County Courthouse. They're speaking out against the death of George Floyd and also voicing their support for the Black Lives Matter movement. But today was different, as demonstrators and law enforcement came together to take steps and try to understand each other. Protests sparked by the death of George Floyd continued in Fort Wayne on Thursday with an attempt to bridge the gap between protesters and law enforcement.
We just had a march, Black Lives Matter, here citywide, and we walked down to the MLK Bridge, heard some speeches, we prayed.
Protesters were joined by city officials, including Mayor Tom Henry and city council members, as well as Allen County Sheriff David Gladio and Fort Wayne Police Chief Steve Reed and his officers. Reed says it's a step in really bringing the community back together.
We have to come together. We can't be separate like this. We can't let outside influences tear our city apart. I feel like we've been making progress, and hopefully that continues. And events like this, I think, hopefully will help that.
As they marched, people had conversations about the racial tensions in the city and across the nation, as well as about police reform and training. They're discussions that, according to Henry, are key in mending relationships in Fort Wayne and moving forward.
It was actually a real relief to a lot of tension and stress that has been building up for some time. It does, as they say, take a village to try to reach an end result that we all really want. It's just a matter of having different interpretations of how to get there.
But not everyone was on board with the march. A smaller group of people protested against the march, calling it a publicity stunt and demanding real change.
We need real police reform. We need people who know what they're talking about, discussing these things with the chief of police, with the mayor, with the sheriff deputy. What are they doing? I don't care about their little PR stunt. What I want to know is, what are you doing now? What are you doing for those people? What are you doing for us?
Some of the big things they're pushing for is just reform within our law enforcement agencies. Things like extra training and a bigger emphasis on de-escalation tactics. Both he and Henry said the conversations that have happened in the past couple of days are just the start of a bigger discussion to come between those who have stepped up as the leaders of this protest, as well as those who are involved with other community organizations. Now, the city did clarify what some of those next steps would be and who those conversations would be with. You can find that over on WANE.com. Reporting live at the Martin Luther King Jr. Bridge, Salay, WANE 15 News. Indie rock band Calder the Band reconvened their act in early 2020 before their plans were stunted by the coronavirus pandemic.
Pre-COVID, we were playing pretty regularly, actually. I remember last fall, we actually had quite a few shows lined up. And we were playing at places like the Brass Rail, we played at 2 E's Winery. But yeah, after COVID hit, it got to the point where you didn't really feel comfortable inviting people to your shows.
While they missed the live performance experience, it has given them more time to focus on creating new content.
I mean, we love doing gigs, don't get me wrong, but it has been really nice not having them as well, like a blessing in disguise almost, because we have been able to focus on making new content, but uninterrupted.
We've been recording a lot of singles so far. We've been writing a lot of demos.
Morale's been high this whole time. It's just been a joy to refocus on why we're doing what we're doing.
It's a sentiment shared by metal band The Green Leaves.
We went from back in March having shows pretty much every single weekend and even having our third tour planned for July. And when the pandemic came and knocked all that out, it just cleared up a lot of time and energy that we could redirect into different things.
Specifically, they've been able to fine-tune their sound and performance.
Really sit down, kind of review everything that we've written previously, decide what we like, what we don't like, and just improve in every way that we can.
Certain playing sections that we had, certain riffs that were maybe tough to learn. We had all the time in the world to learn them now.
They're perfecting it now so that they're ready when they do eventually get to play to crowds again.
We're optimistic. We're pretty much open to whatever happens, and we've pretty much gotten to the point where we've accepted that we've gone, so many months without performing live that we're just pretty much fighting the long fight, and whenever it happens, and whenever it happens, we'll be ready.
That's right, Dirk. I'm down at Midwest Pipe and Steel on Pontiac Street, where a man is dead after what police say they believe was a domestic incident. They say around 2:40 p.m. they were sent to what was called out as a crash with injuries in the parking lot of the business. Employees took a male victim inside and tried to resuscitate him, but were not able to. Police declared him dead on scene, although it's unclear what the cause of death is at this time. They were, however, able to identify a female person of interest. They found her in an alley near Columbia Avenue and Delta Boulevard. It's not clear what her role might have been in this situation, but they say she is in custody and being questioned. We'll keep you updated with the latest over on WANE.com. Live on Pontiac Street, Britt Salay, WANE 15 News. Expect some tie-ups on part of I-69 North if you'll be heading out shortly. Thanks for joining us. I'm Britt Salay. We're seeing traffic backups after a crash just north of DuPont Road. A semi was involved and ended up against the median. Police were diverting traffic off I-69 for more than an hour. Right now, one lane of I-69 North is open, but expect delays. Fort Wayne police are asking for your help as they look for a person of interest in the fatal shooting of a 19-year-old. Last Friday, John Peterson was found in the driver's seat of a vehicle in the 4600 block of Willard Drive. He had several apparent gunshot wounds and died at the scene. To help in their investigation, police have released a series of photos that show a dark-colored Chevy Tahoe SUV. And if you look closely, there's a man inside. Anyone with information about the vehicle or the shooting is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 436-STOP or use the new P3 Crime Stoppers app. On the heels of Allen County announcing it will not extend the mask mandate next week, others around the area are following suit. Columbia City will follow the governor and guidance from the Whitley County Health Department, according to a Facebook post. Customers and employees are recommended but not required to mask up inside city buildings. Whitley County is currently in yellow, but if they move back into orange or red, masks will be required again. Project Mastodon, the big warehouse building planned along US 30, is moving forward. Today, the Redevelopment Commission voted to approve the Economic Development Agreement. In it, the company agrees to buy the land from the city and reimburse the city for infrastructure improvements made in the area in the coming months. Construction on the building is expected to start this summer and wrap up by the end of next year. A bill that will provide federal funding to Northeast Indiana is on its way to the governor's desk. We first told you about House Bill 1238 earlier this year. It's authored by Indiana State Representative Dave Heine. The goal, to raise the per capita income for hardworking Hoosiers, provide better training for higher paying job opportunities, and increase the population in Northeast Indiana. More on that bill over on WANE.com. If you're staying in town this weekend, how about shopping for locally made products and homegrown goods? The Southside Farmers Market will be open for its 95th year tomorrow. Various vendors and local growers sell everything from home-baked goods to plants, artwork, antiques, and more. They even serve breakfast and lunch for hungry shoppers and will have wood stoves fired up to warm the building. They ask that people continue to take COVID-19 precautions when they stop in. They will also have hand sanitizing stations on site. Tomorrow's hours are 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Southside Farmers Market, located in the 3300 block of Warsaw Street between Oxford and Pontiac. Coming up after the break, Nathan has your weather forecast. Nathan, are we in for an excellent Easter?
Oh, we sure are. Excellent Easter up ahead. Britt, what are some of your favorite things to do on Easter?
I mean, I prefer the day after Easter when all the candy goes on sale, personally. That's my favorite part.